Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to the show. It looks like the Bronze and the Vision have turned on Seth Rollins in the shocking conclusion to this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Today, I'm going to be diving into all of it. Is it real? Is it fake? Is it going to be a swerve like his last injury? I'm going to give you all the hot, juicy gossip and my opinion in today's episode of Wrestling Absorber Radio. My name is Dan Frampton. Likes and subs. Let's go. So I will admit I missed this week's episode of Monday Night Raw when it aired live because it aired at 8 in the morning my time. This thing was over there in Australia. So in Australian time, it aired at normal time, but where I'm at, it was so early. And when I woke up to the news that Seth Rollins' group has turned on him. And this is an incredibly shocking turn of events because Seth Rollins' group is like the main storyline in WWE right now. You got Bronson Reed, the Shula Fala thing that was going on, him and fucking Roman Reigns going on. You got, Braun Breaker and his rise to the top, him barking and getting everybody in the crowd to bark along with him, and Paul Heyman. These dudes, were opening up the show every single week, and they were going through their thing every single week, and it seemed like their stuff was just getting hotter. Everybody in this whole faction was in a storyline with somebody at the top of the card. We had like storylines with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and the list kind of just went going on with these guys. So you're thinking, these guys are strong as hell. They're not gonna go through like any turmoil anytime soon. There's gonna be no cracks in the cement. Well, those cracks in the cement they showed this week on Monday Night Raw, and everybody was shocked because Monday Night Raw started as it always does with a Vision promo. These four gentlemen come to the ring and everything is hunky-dory. Seth Rollins is like, I'm a visionary, I'm a revolutionary, we're the best. And speaking of we being the best, I'm the best. I did everything by myself. And that kind of like set the seeds in motion for what would happen at the end of the show. So anyway, the entirety of Monday Night Raw then happens, and then at the end of the show, we get the angle. Out there, Seth Rollins just talking about his thing. I'm a visionary, I'm a revolutionary, I'm the best, we're the best, but more importantly, I'm the best. He kicks a lane CM Punk out of the ring. He's ordering everybody to do his bidding, and instead of his bidding, Braun Breaker just spears the socks off of Seth Rollins. And this was as the credits were on the screen. We didn't think anything else was gonna happen. This is the classic move. Braun Breaker spears the shit out of Seth Rollins and then goes over to Braun Breaker and says, you're either with me or you're not. And it didn't take Bronson Reed long to think about it. He then grabs Seth Rollins by the arms, grabs him to the corner turnbuckle, and tsunami! The biggest tsunami of all time. So he comes off the ropes, wiggling his little arms, crushing Seth Rollins, and it was a beautiful sight. Like, okay, this is the excitement I like to see, because we're expecting just a Vision promo to open, a Vision promo to close, rinse and repeat, status quo, but here a thing happened. And they're saying this is because of an injury that Seth Rollins sustained the night before. You see, Seth Rollins did this insane death-defying stunt where he did a coast-to-coast flying headbutt in the ring, and apparently from that, people were seeing him out there in a sling. Now, Seth Rollins worked an injury a couple months ago. He worked the boys, he worked the locker room, he worked his friends and family into believing that he was actually hurt just for him to turn up and cash in his money in the bank on CM Punk to make a memorable moment. So if they're doing that again, literally 2 months later, then that is pretty weak. But if Seth Rollins is actually injured and they decided to make this creative pivot like this, then I'm actually excited for it, because Raw went off the air with Braun Breaker holding up the world title. Now, there's a video on this channel saying I don't think that Braun Breaker is necessarily ready for the world title. He's not ready for the world title picture, not yet. But stories like this, hype moments like this, are getting him that much closer to it, I think. But there has been a little bit of conspiracy saying, well, Seth Rollins fake this injury, and this is an entire coup by the Vision in order just to get under CM Punk's skin and to play games with CM Punk's mind in storyline. And to be honest, I can see them going ahead and doing something like that. and then Seth Rollins coming back, and then the Vision just being status quo as it is. But with these wrestlers and with these like dirt sheets that report on the wrestling, it's impossible to tell what's a work and what's a shoot these days, especially with Seth Rollins out here being like, oh, I'm in a sling. Oh, I'm on crutches. Like, that doesn't mean anything anymore, buddy. It doesn't matter if a fan catches you outside, I don't know, at Walgreens in a full body cast. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Seth Rollins, you ruined it. But the way that they closed the TV show made it look like Braun Breaker was leading this. The other members of the Vision seemed surprised. They're like, what are you doing? What the fuck's going on? You can't be spearing the Visionary, the Revolutionary. But then Braun Breaker just made the ultimatum. He goes to both Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman and says, you're either with me or you're not. And it turns out they're gonna be with him because Paul Heyman is closing the show by raising both of their arms in the air, being like, this is the new Vision. Well, what about Becky Lynch? Where was Becky Lynch in all of this? Isn't Becky Lynch part of the Vision? And from a babyface heel standpoint, I'm not exactly sure where this stands. Did these guys turn even more heel? But I don't think that's the case because the audience cheered. The audience loved seeing this shocking moment. Becky Lynch needs to continue being a heel because she's in a rivalry with AJ Lee, who can only be a babyface at this point. There were rumors that Austin Theory was going to be brought into this stable. So what I'm thinking is, and what I'm hoping actually, is that Seth Rollins, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I never wish somebody's actually injured. But in this situation, I hope Seth Rollins is actually injured and they did this creative pivot. Because if this creative pivot means that Paul Heyman is now going to be managing these 3 young talents, then I'm all about that. If they get Austin Theory involved and raise him up to a level where I can take him seriously, well, this is going to be the thing that does it. That's all speculation though. I have no idea where they're going with this storyline. And to be honest, I don't think they know where they're going with this storyline. I think they're booking this on the fly and they're booking this around people having injuries and stuff, which is just part of the whole wrestling thing. You got to be ready to do that kind of thing. But if they're ready to bring Braun Breaker up to that world title picture and have him in the ring with CM Punk, well, that's kind of cool too. But I am not sure where everybody falls now on the babyface heel spectrum after all of this. It's a little bit confusing. And to be honest, Seth Rollins' whole thing has always been a little bit confusing. Everybody sings his song, everybody cheers for him, but as soon as he's in there with like CM Punk, he gets booed. As soon as he's in there with Roman Reigns, he gets booed. But every other time, people are loving Seth Rollins. I personally enjoy it. I love his whole presentation. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like his presentation, that don't get his presentation, that don't think that he has a character. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but either way, I will recognize it is very confusing and also very polarizing. But since I'm the wrestling absorber, I'm going to be giving this thing a star rating. Yeah, I'm going to be rating this double cross 4.5 stars. This was a great double cross. It was shocking and memorable. There's stakes, young talent, fantasy booking up the wazoo, a lot of talking points coming out of it, so I think that this thing was a very welcome addition to Monday Night Raw. There are reports coming out from all over the dirt sheets saying that the War Games lineup was an option, that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attacking Rollins was hinted to be a heavy creative pivot. A source indicated that Braun Breaker wasn't supposed to split originally until 2026. And then Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, not the Wrestling Absorber, also noted that the Vision were booked to remain together through WrestleMania, with Austin Theory joining the stable at some point. And also going on to say that many don't believe anything at this point because of how soon it was after that Seth Rollins lied about that knee injury. So like 3 days ago, I was thinking they were going to be working all the way until WrestleMania, doing Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestleMania. And now, according to Dave Meltzer, he says, quote, Seth Rollins was tentatively scheduled to wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't know this, but I have been told enough things to where I expect there to be a turn on Seth Rollins at some point. The whole thing with this faction was not about Seth Rollins. It was about Braun Breaker and making Braun Breaker the next Roman Reigns. I doubt it was going to be this early, and that very much was true right off the bat. I think that they are building up Braun Breaker to be the next like face of the company guy, but this is strapping that rocket to his back a little bit too early in some people's minds. In my minds, I think we need to get these young guys up to that level now. The main event scene is like 50-year-olds, okay? We need the young dudes and ladies out there main eventing this stuff. I don't think Braun Breaker is necessarily all the way there yet. His reactions and mic skill aren't to that level yet. but his in-ring work is pretty exciting, and his psychology is about, I don't know, maybe a 3.5 out of 5, and that's being generous. I don't think Braun Breaker has everything that it takes to be the Roman Reigns guy, but hell, we were saying that about Roman Reigns for 10 years before he became like the tribal chief and completely and utterly undeniable. So the company has clearly made that investment in Braun Breaker, and I don't see it yet, but I'm here for the ride. I'm willing to see where it goes, and if they're willing to do exciting, shocking storytelling like they did this week on Raw, then that's all the better. But that's what I think. What do you think? Where do you think this storyline is going? Do you think Braun Breaker is eventually going to be WWE title guy? Like, do you think he's eventually going to hold the Cody belt and not the Gunther belt? I don't know, dude. I don't know how soon any of that's going to happen, but it's a sign in the right direction. They're trying to get these like 40 and 50-year-olds back down to the mid-card to raise and elevate the younger talent that can now be in the main event for 10 years to come. What do I know? I don't run the business. I just have a YouTube channel with less than 300 subscribers. So you can change that right now by hitting like and pressing that subscribe button. It helps out a whole lot. This is my 4th channel, okay? I have a whole Frampton network of channels where I talk about gaming, music, drama, slop. It all goes down on the Frampton network. So I raise my mug to you. Thank you so much for watching this video.